it says.
Oh, yeah, sure I am. Let's connect this thing.
Can't you make that background bigger?
What background?
The Winter Punderland
Oh, I
live
did
stream.
originally. It went smaller.
Oh, well. All right, looks like they're a little late. Yeah, we're here.
It's the late Lorraine Corey Cole.
If we're...
It doesn't quite have the right ratio,
That's
but
fine.
that's okay.
That works. Okay. So
How late are we?
Yeah, well, we're the late Coles.
The
There,
late-
okay.
or-
There we go.
Yep.
Cole.
So the stream was a bit belate?
Belated, yes.
Yeah.
It's dem bones, dem punny bones.
Dem bones, dem bones, dem bunny bones.
Yeah. All right.
Hear the word of the Lord.
Okay. Any
I'll
rate,
take off my shirt.
welcome everybody to yet another live stream.
It's
On
30 years
this-
of glory, but aren't we closer to 40 by now? 35?
Not quite. It only feels like it.
Well, let's see. Now, the first one was 88.
Okay.
88. That's 34 years. 33 years. No, it was 89. 89 was when we released it. 88 is when we started it. 89, and it was late 89. So I guess it's only 32 years.
Yep.
That's to
Hello,
the...
Coles from a mild snowdrift. Well, you have the weather. We don't. We're having cloudy weather. We'll have cloudy weather for the week. Hello from a sick Molly. Oh no.
Aww.
Hope you get
Get
better.
well soon.
Yeah. Not enough snow for Browgie. Yeah. It takes a lot of snow when you have to, be that big.
Although, he may have been trying to get out of the heavy snow by coming down to us.
That's true. He wanted to go to spring. Yes.
Oh, I should have
infections.
had spring
Yikes.
fever. What were infections making my tummy? Oh, yeah, they're no fun.
Getting caught by Turk Hill?
that
Hello, Mr.
wouldn't
Merchant. And Murdoctopus has snow in there, too.
In Nova Scotia, I guess. I can't think what else NS stands
I
for.
don't know. Not safe. Whatever it is, there's too much snow. It's not safe.
Nordic snowfields would have snow. Because
It's in the snow,
It's in the
yes.
name.
So, yes, we are in the middle of winter. It makes sense that you would have snow in this wonderful Punderland. Yes, Nova Scotia, yes.
Nice.
Howdy, yes, from MCO.
We have never been to Nova Scotia,
and
but
Dana
we
Bar
are
just-
Stan Rogers fans.
Yes, subscribe to Tier 1. Thank you very much.
25th month. Woohoo!
Wow. Currently on
That's,
a 25-month streak. Gee.
That's longer than we've been alive, isn't it?
Live on stream,
Feels like it.
Perhaps.
We've been here that long.
Good evening, everyone, from Cosmic Void 3. That's
The
true.
Cosmic Voyage.
Many of you, it is evening.
We liked the game Cosmic Encounter.
That was our favorite, yeah.
Yeah, I discovered that. Actually, I was playing that at a Sherlock Holmes convention I went to.
Wow.
And then introduced Lori to it, and we both loved the game. So,
No.
well, mostly Lori loved the
I
game because
think
she was good at it.
Yeah,
she won all the
I
time.
think I had it at home, Corey.
I don't think so. I think I introduced
you
you
think
to
it
it.
came after that? Okay. Does it make it Nova Scotia or Nova Scotia?
Nova Scotia or Nova Scotia.
Nova-
I like Nova Scotia
I
personally.
like Nova Scotia.
Yeah, see,
Close,
we're
yeah.
not compatible.
Yeah, well, haha, take your pick. Yeah.
Of course,
We
she's
do.
wearing a Summer Days T-shirt in the middle of winter.
I am wearing the hero U for Punder Day.
Oh, okay. Whereas I'm in 30 Years of Glory because I'm just heroic.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
your shirt
And
much more
besides-
matches the back. It looks like you're going to blend in.
I may disappear at any moment.
Mine is a darker red here.
And,
So, at any rate, welcome everybody. We're lining up the puns for today. I hope you all brought some with you.
Did we give away our print of the Dungeness Dragon?
Yes,
or-
we did.
That's a
But
shame.
we didn't.
That's one of
We
my favorites.
didn't. Well, we can just as a Punder Day. We didn't.
Oh,
we
still
could,
here?
Yeah, well, here it is. You could show. This is a pun, after all.
Yep.
There's a
Gotta be really-
pun.
Yep, that's a bun.
We haven't sent it out yet, but it is a pun.
Yeah, I'm
it's
about
here.
2 months behind in sending out rewards to people. So,
But there are people that are 2 months behind sending us announcements that they won something.
Yeah, if you have won something, you need to send email to support@hero-u.net.
Because otherwise, it'll never get to you.
If you win, send me a note at support@hero-u.net.
None pun.
Because if we don't get that, I'll lose track.
None pun
I don't
will
have
not let one be won.
None pun. So Lori saw a good one on Facebook today. It was, what are we having for supper? Oh, it's going to be Himalayan rabbit stew. Where'd you get the rabbit? I found Himalayan on the road. There we go. I was going to tell that one to my mother, but since she loves bunnies...
and she wouldn't get it anyway, yes.
She would not like that idea.
So, yeah.
I don't think I want to offer any merch on my...
Okay.
Okay, I have... everyone by now should be visiting our Patreon regularly, because for one thing, we announce all these streams. And for another things, all kinds of posts about stuff at Sierra, life before and after, Lori's photography, and even occasional puns. So get over there. Roadkill cuisine jokes.
And the other one is, of course, our Discord.
Our Discord. Oh, the Discord. I posted, actually, I believe in my where did I put it? Was it the Patreon post?
I don't know. Which one was it?
Posts.
New.
Scheduled, published. Published.
Published. Okay, fine.
I don't know. It could be on the dashboard.
Okay, it's
Winter
Punderland.
View.
Do not delete.
Winter Punderland.
You could show the screen instead of...
okay. I put up... I think I just posted this yesterday, so this still should be good.
Okay.
This is a 5-day or link to Discord. Hey, Rich.
Yay.
So the link I just posted is good for about 5 more days. And that's just so that we don't get a whole bunch of spammers that pick this up long after I put it up on YouTube. And you can use that to get into our Discord. And if you're a patron, I believe you get automatic Discord membership. And if you're a $10 a month patron, you get hero status on the Discord, which gets you a special marker. Yes, I posted on our Discord, on our Patreon. Maybe it's your turn.
Well, you can keep yakking. You're the one that was...
I'm yakking. Yak. This is something that someone posted on our Discord. So I reposted it to our Patreon. We have a channel in the Discord called the Punitentiary. I came up with that. And this is one of our recent posts. He died last Friday. Thank God he wasn't beaten. Don't worry, he went over easy. He's now on the sunny side. He's definitely in a better plate.
So, yeah.
And I said if you broke it up into little pieces, then I could donate platelets, which I did for the first time back in November.
I see. So. Okay.
That's maybe a little stretched.
That's stretched, yes.
Anyway,
if you have hero status, we'll place 3 new throwing daggers in your silverware drawer every night. Wow. I mean, that's generous.
Of course, we take that from the other heroes, so your net amount of daggers you have never changes.
I see. From the other heroes, from their backs or something like that? I don't know.
From their silverware drawers.
Oh, okay, fine. So, at any rate, welcome again. We're going to have plenty of puns. Feel free to donate and be an ice guy this winter. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because we can't do this stuff in isolation.
Yes, and there's no business like snow business. So
there's hardly any business to Translator Games for that matter.
Well, okay.
we do a little bit of stuff every once in a while. Mm-hmm. We are planning on any day now getting Summer Days at Hero Utilities Tale into early access and getting it out to all the Summer Days backers and to all the Hero U backers that pre-ordered Wizard's Way, because we don't know when we're going to get around to Wizard's Way, if ever. So it's almost done, and I just gave Philip a little curveball at the end, curve snowball, I guess, of some last-minute changes we needed. So we're going to get in some credits for the voice actors, and Lori and I came up with a feature that we actually wanted to have all along, which is when you go to the map and you're thinking about going to a room, it'll give you an idea of what you hear in that room before you commit to it, so that you know kind of what's going on, especially after you've been there once.
Yep. So
I think it was originally coded backwards. You hear stuff before you go the first time, and you don't hear it the other time.
I have no clue.
Anyway, so we're going to have that, and then once we have that, I will post that up on Steam and GOG probably. Maybe, I'm not sure how GOG works for early access. And the reason it's early access is A, we can still get some feedback to improve the game, and B, so that when I actually do a full release, that we can get some publicity for it.
Yeah, we want to have some publicity so that we don't just dump it out. And of course, Ifeo's Adventures is being worked on now. Well, all right, it's being worked on by me now, because actually all of the art has already been created with a few touch-up arts that I'm getting done.
JP and Al gave us the art we need for it, and now Lori's doing the writing. So.
And Philip will be our lead programmer on that one, and then currently we have JP Selwood, our artist, working on Sammy's story, so that we'll have these 3 short games out as soon as possible.
I don't have too much cultural appropriation with a lily white American woman writing a story of a
it's a
Black
fantasy
Yoruban.
world. It's a fantasy world.
So Lori's always wanted to be a black man growing up in West Central Africa.
Fine. Okay, not sure what this means for those in the Southern Hemisphere. Working on it right away.
If you catch up art. So we're trying to catch up, yes. Better than Mustard Musics.
Okay.
Mustard Metronome.
Microsoft Gaming CEO says he hopes his childhood games. I noticed he didn't mention Quest for Glory.
He didn't mention Quest for Glory. He did, however, mention Hexen, which I've never played. I don't know anything about.
I heard of it. It was
I've
around.
I've heard the name. Yeah.
Would you take on Quest for Glory 6 if Microsoft offered you to make it unto them? Well, that's always the big
depends
debate.
how much money they throw at us.
Yes, I mean we will sell our souls to the devil because we've
always done that in the past.
That's what we did with
stop now?
Sierra. So we are to a certain extent viable, but again, it would be under our terms, and it wouldn't be the original Hero.
And if we did get in with Microsoft on that, I would definitely talk to them about integrating Hero U into the Quest for Glory world, and making remarketing it as Quest for Glory Hero University, which would probably help. That way they'd have an already done game under their belt. We could probably do an update with some graphic changes. Maybe, I don't know.
But if they really wanted Quest for Glory, we could give them the kids.
Yeah, Quest for Glory 6. Quest for Glory 6 implies that you have the same hero of Quest for Glory 1 through 5 going on, and Lori did her best to tie up all the loose ends.
Well, as I said, King's Quest did it. If King's Quest did it,
and the last 2 were terrible.
No, I meant that this. The first games were about King Graham, and then they were about Rosella, which was his kid.
Right.
So therefore, yes, we could do it with having you play the children of, the hero
and whoever he happens to end up with.
Ended up with, yeah. The hero and Elsa would have been the warrior. We did plan this out.
So the next generation, and we actually plan them to take place in various Oriental, Eastern Asian countries, including India and Nippon. Was it Nippon?
Is it that Microsofts aren't evil anymore, or that they've been overshadowed in evil by Amazon and Facebook and such? Yeah.
Well, the common thing of all 3 of those is they have money and we don't.
And they're jackasses about it, but that's okay.
Yeah. We actually did have investor who wanted to help us make our next game and really push it. And then he asked for the sales numbers on Rogue Redemption, and sort of the line grew cold at that point.
Yeah,
he was basically people like that are only looking for things that are already huge market successes, as opposed to they don't care if it's a great game.
Yeah,
they care if
Rogue
it's sold.
Redemption is not exactly Minecraft. So I don't actually suspect we will get anything from Microsoft in the future. Ah, hello, Valiant Cheese. Welcome. Yes.
But I could certainly see, whoops.
And Quest for Glory and Inja sounds like such a fun city. It would be. It would be amazing. There's so much mythology and story there that hasn't been touched, really.
So, I guess that could be a 4-game sequence in China, Japan, India, and Korea. Any other countries we'd have to hit?
That's
Russia.
Well, we have to hit.
Well, we sort of did Russia with Moldavia.
Yeah.
Close enough.
No, it's not the same. Not the same culture. But just that we're pulling upon the same, the Slavic inheritance. Microsoft seems to have taken a turn for the better. Okay.
They have a Genghis Khan setting.
They respected Age of Empires, actually picking it up again. So if they return to older franchises, maybe they'll do them justice as well. That would be nice.
But I did answer a question on Discord, private question from someone yesterday, early this morning, and I kind of said, well, realistically, even if they did decide to make a Quest for Glory, they wouldn't see any particular reason to involve us in it, except possibly as consultants.
Yeah.
And that'll be fine. I mean, role is consulting on the game and helping it to get the right feel and the right flavor and so on.
Yep, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, etc. We would really have to do an awful lot of research to get to those things. They don't have their mythologies and stories, are not as widespread.
We have had a correspondence with a fan in Thailand.
Korea would rock.
Who has been encouraging us to get into NFTs.
Yeah.
And we've sort of been like, I don't know.
I feel very uncomfortable supporting businesses that acquire other businesses. That's culturally unhealthy. Other problematic stuff aside, I don't think I'll be a Microsoft customer ever again.
Well, we're hooked on Windows. We keep buying Windows computers because the fact is that Apple ain't no better.
Yeah,
and Linux is probably fine, but we sort of
There was a time where we just absolutely needed to have Microsoft computers because we had to have access to Word because most of our documents were in Word. And nowadays, I'm mostly using Chrome for everything.
Word has been on the Mac forever. It was on.
Well, but
I don't know if it was on the Lisa. Probably not, but it was on the Macintosh.
Old dogs, new tricks, and all that. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Well, we tried some new tricks on Quest for Glory 5, completely rebuilding the engine and making everything 3D and stuff. And it was a few too many new tricks at a time. Vastly delayed the project, and the art just doesn't look as good as Quest for Glory 4.
On the other hand, we did the same thing in Rogue to Redemption, and the art really looks great to me.
Yeah, after redoing it, yeah.
After redoing it 3 times.
Just like we did on
Correct,
Quest for Glory 5.
Yeah. So there's plenty of new tricks to worry about without a new operating system on top of it, truly, yeah.
Well, we are trying to get Summer Days out on Android and iOS, as well as the PC platforms and Switch. And the problem is, the testing requirements and publicizing it on those other devices and so on is hard. But I suspect we're going to release it.
Rogue to Redemption is a beautiful game. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We really worked hard.
It's hilarious because while we were developing it, we got a number of comments from people. The fact that our game looked ugly and that it was awful, and part of it was because they were looking at older versions of it that were ugly. But a lot of it is that everybody's taste differs. The one person, I said, okay, we're a low budget indie game. So that's no problem. There's lots of other low budget indie games that have amazing graphics. So I asked him to give us some examples, and he gave us 3 examples from games that we thought looked like the S word. So they were not pretty at all, and they were not the right style. They were substandard. Yes, the S
that
word.
Was the S word. Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, it's being criticized by people for ugly art when, their idea of art is we consider ugly, just means we have different tastes. And
It's
that's
kind
okay.
of rude to say to somebody that their name is ugly. Well,
That's actually, it's okay to give constructive feedback. Ugly is not a useful word.
Yeah.
If you come and say the animation on that character is jerky, or it moves too slowly, those are things we can say, okay, let's make some tweaks to it and make it a little better. If you say that character looks awful, it's like, okay, well, it's what it is. We were told that Sean O'Connor had a rape smile, I think was the phrase. And I'm like, what?
yeah, that I didn't know.
It meant that his smile was like mine. So apparently my only purpose in life is to sexually assault
People with your smile. Yeah.
other people. Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say women, but it doesn't have to be women. I'm just a nasty, nasty old man.
Yes, the continuous graphics arms race caused a lot of problems over the years. Right now, we've
put on a
been
turban.
in a. What? You want your hat?
I'm putting on a
Jeez.
turban.
No, that's not a good thing.
It's get ready for Quest for Louis 2.
Dorky.
It's too warm is the problem.
You're too warm for a hat.
It's kind of like Karnak's hat on Johnny Carson.
Okay, fine. A rakish grin, yes, a rakish grin. That's
A rakish
better.
grin.
Yeah,
That's exactly what
better
he has. I mean, it is a bit naughty, so in that
Uh-huh.
sense, yeah. Graphics don't take me out of the experience. They don't need to be absolutely cutting.
And then add flavor to it if you're going to complain. Yes, says Phantom Beaver. That character animation is more jerky than my beef.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Now that's the right
So,
way to make criticism.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a beef with something,
Yeah.
you got to let us know what flavor.
Mm-hmm. Insults is destructive, unhelpful, and hurtful indeed.
Yes. I mean, it's a very fine dividing line. I mean, some people are very sensitive about their games. Other people have thicker skins. I'm sensitive about other stuff.
Yeah.
Is it Wagyu? That's the pun, wagging the tail of the beef.
Yes. I figure that the person giving feedback has responsibility for presenting the feedback in a way that it can be taken on board, especially if it's unsolicited. Anything else is either bad criticism feedback or someone just expressing themselves, which doesn't need to be directed at a creator.
So the rule on improv theater is you never contradict anyone. So I'll say yes, and we do not actually expect our players and backers to be professional testers or professional game developers. So giving us information is useful, and they won't always be diplomatic about it. They won't, always give us the useful thing, but getting some feedback is much better than getting none. And it's painful. It hurts, but the object is to make a better game. Yeah, she lets me read it. I'm losing my turban.
In those cases, you'd be soliciting, asking for that feedback, which would change the context. Yes, it does. Yes, we deliberately and quite, want to ask you people for advice on what you think and how you think should do. And then, of course, it'll be filtered through our interpretation of what we want to do. So
I did get a report that the Linux build 2.2 of Road to Redemption worked perfectly, and 2.2.1 all of a sudden had all kinds of problems. So I went up on our Kickstarters, and our 8-year-old at this point, 10-year-old Kickstarter at this point, and asked people that had Linux systems to please go back and replay the new version of the game and see what they got. Losing my turban, I asked for a hat.
You didn't ask for the hat.
I did
You
ask for a hat.
I didn't hear the question. Have a hat.
I just don't want to blind everybody. So I actually postponed putting the game on some new platforms for a while, and the feedback came back, and nobody else had the problems. So that is a problem we had in the early days of PCs, and even before that on CPM systems, is that every graphics card was incompatible with all the others. They all used different interrupts, and the world was a mishmash of no standards, and yet you were expected to support all of them.
I'd probably go with Choreo, since that would be almost recognizable as what it is. So,
And the world, after all, is we have Gloriana, everyone knows, but we had a parallel world called Corian, made up of my name and Lori's middle name, and Corianne is awfully close to Corio, or Corio could just be my name.
Yeah.
Gorio is unfortunately to
Joseon or Joseon. Joseon was just an era and a dynasty. Yes, interesting. Definitely don't know enough about that.
No.
I remember seeing the first Kickstarter go live and was so excited. I was too young to back it at the time. Wasn't old enough to own a credit card. But I was rooting for you all the way. Yay!
Okay, well, now that you're old enough, actually, you don't even have to be old enough. You can tell all your friends. Use social media because you're probably 10 times better at social media than old folks like us, if not 100. And word of mouth is what gets people to learn about games.
Joseon is Gloriana's Mexico.
Jose, can you see? That was our favorite Shaggy Dog story as kids. Was the Mexican guy climbing up on the flagpole because he couldn't afford tickets to watch the ball game, and afterwards, as his friend said, "Well, how was he?" He said, "It was wonderful. Everyone was so understanding of me being up there. They even looked at me and said, 'Jose, can you see?'"
Well, here's something funny I did. I told someone to eat a magic mushroom just before a fight in Quest for Glory 1, and it will give you a temporary strength boost. Okay.
What was the word about just say no to drugs?
I wasn't stable enough financially to support the Kickstarter the first time around, but did spread the word. That's just as important.
Yeah, that actually counts for more.
Uh-huh.
Because, one person buying the game or supporting the Kickstarter, that helps. That's money in the bank. But one person spreading the word to 10 friends who spread it to 10 more.
Spreading the news. Yes, hello.
We'll take the rest of it.
No. I only backed Summer Days personally, and I bet specifically to get the big box of Road to Redemption.
Lori has a lovely voice, but she's shy about it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a big box for Summer Days too when
eventually
when Ifeo's game. We have it designed out, so we're just a matter of getting both games into the same
we haven't put any attention at all into the physical goods. We'll work that out after we get the game out.
Well, yeah, I figure since we were offering in the Kickstarter 2 games, most of this stuff, some of this stuff will come out as soon as we ship the Summer Days. So we will have the things that for all the backers that had
although I'm actually thinking
wallpapers.
I'm actually thinking we may want to get those boxes shipped just with Summer Days, Tilly's Tale, and they can get the digital Ifeo's Adventure later. And
well, that's different. That would make us having to go into printing this year.
Yeah.
So we'd have to have it printed in
summertime. People would actually get something.
That will delay the shipping, honestly. Everybody gets Summer Days digitally. We ship them. If you want to do the box, we can ship the box. I do
feel bad about every one of our backers that died of COVID or is about to die of old age before we give them something. So.
Hey, at least they got something from Road to Redemption, okay?
Or for that matter, us dying of old age before we give it to them.
That's the other one I'm kind of worried about, yes.
Oh, glad you like the yearbook. I was concerned about whether it needed to be hardcover. I decided that paperback was really suitable for it because it's a relatively thin book. Plus the fact that it cost a whole lot less to ship.
Yes, and boy, did we have to ship it.
I still have I have a whole box of yearbooks in my bedroom. So we may offer them on the website or something at some point.
He voted on the design of the Hero U big box, and the choice didn't win. But years later, I feel the winning design actually looks better. I think it looks really good.
I actually like it. We had a poll of players for what color to make the yearbook, and they went with brown, and that's not what we would have chosen.
But it did look.
But it's fine.
It looked real. I mean, what can he say?
Reel-to-reel recording? No. You finding one?
Yeah, well, somebody gave it to me for my Christmas
present.
Oh, yeah.
I
gave solstice present.
Yeah, Lori needed a Christmas present, and I didn't have time to go to the store, so I gave her this exciting Christmas present. She was. You can imagine how thrilled she was. Look at that nearly blank page.
You turned to a blank page. That's
Here's
good.
The School of Bards. We would eventually like to do Hero U all about bards as opposed to just bards. But this is what the yearbook looks like.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
It was an enormous amount of work. And
years of work.
Yeah, especially because we had one artist, did everything for it, and then had some personal life problems and had to drop off, and we didn't have a final art on it. So
we had to redo it all.
Yep. Fortunately, we got a volunteer. Our volunteers have been a mainstay and absolutely critical to getting things done. We have a volunteer translated the game into German for us, and I said, can I pay you for this? And he said, no, don't want that.
Man, this stream is so wholesome. Yeah, well, like white bread, except it's got.
Yeah, I even said the S word instead of saying the word. So yeah. Mm-hmm. That's about as wholesome as you get.
Does the big box come with a 3 1/4, or a 5 1/4 floppy disks?
All of them.
No,
it has DVDs.
It has DVDs, yes.
16 DVDs.
A bard game would be so much fun for me as a musician. It would be fun. I mean, we'd have to work really closely with the composer for the thing. Honestly, I would like to have even song and dance number in them. I mean,
so how we design games is we kind of get a basic idea and write it down, come up with some things that fit with it. But eventually it gets to team members and fans and so on have a huge influence on it. So Lori just was really insistent that we have a college yearbook type thing as one of the premiums for the Kickstarter. And as we went to fill that out, it seemed like, having a warrior, a rogue, a paladin, and I think that's all the classes we had.
Warrior,
mage,
rogue,
wizard,
paladin,
wizard,
yes.
Wizard. Those 4 classes didn't really feel like felt like the sections would be too big. We wanted to fill it out, but then as we started reading people's lines that they wanted in the book, a whole lot of them related to food. So at that point we said, well, we've decided that Ifataya is a hero, and she's the head chef at the university. So we'll have a hero class that she teaches, and
the cuisine.
Yeah, so it's the
culinary school.
The culinary school.
So
Culinarius. Yes. And then we saw that a whole lot of things were kind of technical and had to do with programming or science. So we said, okay, well, we have a mad scientist. He's not really mad in the game, so let's have a science class. So we ended up with 6 hero classes, 7, because then we had bards, because a lot of them were musically oriented. So what classes we have in the school depends very heavily on what classes want to be. Now the obvious missing one in D&D terms is we don't have a cleric or priest class. School. And that was a huge intention when we were making Quest for Glory. Is we didn't want anything that smacked modern religion. We did eventually go back and have some like ancient Egyptian religion and stuff, but we didn't want to have like Christianity or anything like that at the school, because some people would be offended one way, some would be offended the other way. We'd be offended one way, and so we kept that out. But having something, I guess the paladin kind of becomes our healer class. But we could have a healer class. That doesn't.
It's part of paladin. It's all that, because that story. If you want to be a true healer, you can be a paladin. And things like that.
But
School setting works so well to tell varying stories. Yes, and that's exactly why I went also to this different format with Summer Days, is because it's something we could get out in theory faster than we can with a big major game. And I can tell different stories. So you'll get different points of view, you'll get different characters to play, and you'll get a whole lot more characters to meet, because we can get the game done in theory sooner. Would you consider collabing with Aubrey Hodges again? I wouldn't mind doing Aubrey. I thought he wasn't well, but
really?
Yeah, somebody said he wasn't well.
Oh dear.
But yeah.
I'd certainly consider collaborating with Ryan Grogan again. I think he did amazing music for Road to Redemption.
Yeah, we were very fond with that.
And Lori loves Aubrey's music, so yeah, that would certainly be a good choice.
Mm-hmm. Mad? They all call me mad, but what do they know of madness? I am not mad. A bit perturbed about the world situation and how I get so little respect, perhaps, but certainly not mad.
Not mad?
That, of course, that's me channeling my, my Poe pastiches with, yes, and the Telltale Heart. There.
Although I think I came up with the original joke that she riffed off of for that. Either that or I wrote it.
You wrote some of it, yeah. I remember you did write some of that.
Yeah, some of it's indistinguishable. Laurie writes, like 90 or 95% of the game, so it's generally safe to blame her for everything. But I do occasionally get a line in here and there.
Yeah, he wrote the beeps. I blame him for the beeps.
Yes. Hiya, pleased to meet you.
Yeah. It fits in very well because school and education is where we learn to open our minds and we learn about the world and other people's around us. Yes, the setting is appropriate, and the fact that we have a fantasy world, I mean, everything's working together so that we could bring in characters from Quest for Glory and keep this world alive and yet fit them into an academic thing and give references to everything and go their own way.
Their mind is like a parachute. It's rather dangerous if not opened. The reverse, what they usually say. Functions best when opened.
Aubrey's soundtrack for The Shadow of Eusebius was great, huh? I did not hear that.
Don't recall that. I wonder if it's up on YouTube.
Yes, Dr. Crading was a serious creep given Frankie. Don't want to think about that too much, yes. To conclude the earlier...
It basically channeled me, so...
Yeah, right. He'd love to make his own woman, Earlier Microsoft talk, in this day
weird science, for that matter.
Quest for Glory 6 would need Punny Bones or Keep on Laughing as the protagonist. I don't think so. That's extremely hard to keep that up. I'll tell you, it would get awfully something.
Well, actually, I did get criticism from a much more prolific and famous narrative game designer on one of the early builds of Hero U as having too many jokes and too many puns that spoiled the mood of it. And, I had to say he might not be wrong. Because, if you look at a really funny movie or whatever, they have a few jokes here and there, but they're not like wall-to-wall jokes, except maybe Abbott and Costello. Maybe not even that. So, may have overdone it.
In Road to Redemption?
But it was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, that first room where we threw
the first room was designed to be that way. And later on, Josh Mandel took over all the writing for it, and I encouraged him to make things silly, and he did.
He did. He succeeded. It was a good job on his part. Yes, educational learning is social as well. One of the things I enjoyed in our Road to Redemption and look forward to in Summer Days is the social gameplay, and that is that is the heart and the meat of the Summer Days games.
Yeah, Summer Days at Hero U is all about social. Laurie was originally inspired partly by Dream Daddy.
Well, actually, Magic Diary, the games.
Magic Diary and Long Live the Queen. Those.
A couple of the Japanese adventure games that I have played through, but I can't even remember the names.
I could flip it around and say Summer Days is completely different from Long Live the Queen, because Long Live the Queen was a very technical game that had a huge spreadsheet of all your skills and relationships and so on.
And I started out with the idea of putting that into the game, but eventually we stripped it all out as I went along, because they didn't fit in well with this kind of storytelling.
So we don't even have a character reputation meter, I don't think.
No.
But behind the scenes, we do keep track of how many interactions you have with each character and how much of their story you get through. Yeah. And to be really best friends with someone, you have to.
That's the other thing we don't actually have in Summer Days, and I thought about it the other day. The reward system for Steam, or whichever one that requires you.
Yeah, we have no achievements for Steam.
I have a whole set of achievements that are possible, so I have a mental list, so we'll have to put it down, yeah.
So maybe in the 10th anniversary edition we'll add those.
Yeah, right. Okay, educational learning and social as well. One of the things I enjoyed in RTR was, and looked forward, that was the social gameplay. Yep. The jokes and puns were the mood.
They certainly are a mood.
Yes. At the age these characters are, that's a big part of their lives, so it plays well. Yes. This is the formative age. This is the age where they're actually becoming the real person. So you are shaping their lives as you play the game.
As opposed to our last 10 or 20 years where we stopped caring about social relationships and gave up all friendships. Because who needs them?
Pun density
We have
is
fans
good
and
for
we
me
have
in the
people
whole-
we interact with in Discord instead.
Yeah.
Pun density felt good to me.
My reading was the initial thief test room is meant to reflect Sean's cockiness.
Certainly to a degree, yeah.
It's to introduce you to the character and to introduce you to how you interact with the game and the tone that we're going to take with the game. And so
Our first prototype, which was on the Wizard game, except it wasn't necessarily a Wizard game, was in Turk's office, where you could look through the folders on the table and read about each of the students, and then you have a choice to say, "Oh, that's me," and that would become your character for the game.
yeah, when it was a text only, so we didn't have to worry about graphics and that. But we soon found that writing text only games was extremely dull. It
Well,
was awful.
I blame myself. I just think I'm not a very good informed programmer, and
Yeah.
or he didn't like the way it came out.
Yes, but yes, we were going initially to make the quest of the School for Heroes as a text only because that was very big. Close to 12 years ago. 12 years ago, probably, that we were doing this, or 15.
So CT by CB says has a gut feeling that Microsoft might take the Quest for Glory franchise and try to turn it into an MMO RPG to try and rival Elder Scrolls Online World of Warcraft. Those types of things are pretty hot at the moment and for the last 20 years. I'll get naming collision. I'll get to you in a minute. So actually, that would not be the first time. Because what happened with Quest for Glory 5 is Sierra broke our contract after Quest for Glory 4 and laid off 2/3 of the company. And then the new management came in and needed a big win. They needed a major game to do.
And the only franchise they had down
was The Realm.
Was The Realm.
So they actually brought us in to talk with the people developing The Realm.
On Quest for Glory, they had the rights to.
Yeah, but they were going to see whether they could rebrand The Realm as World of Quest for Glory.
Yes.
And we thought that was a pretty cool idea, and talked with them, and they showed us some of the stuff they had for The Realm and so on, and I said, okay, well, what tools do you have for developing quests? And they say, oh, we haven't done any of that yet. Well, we plan to get that. And at this point, they thought they were 3 months from shipping the game, and they had no tools for making quests. And we said, you can't do a Quest for Glory if it doesn't have quests.
And it doesn't have a story. So they had nothing there.
So they could have done that, but it would have taken about 3 years to get it done.
Yeah.
So at that point, we kind of convinced them that wasn't the best idea, so they went on with
Yeah,
The Realm.
so they went on, and then they came back to us eventually.
But because we had that contact, they came back and said, well, you guys want to do Quest for Glory 5? And, well, we can't promise we'll actually do it, but, Corey, you can come to work as a systems programmer, and Lori can start doing preliminary documentation. I said, I didn't want that degree of insecurity, so I took a different job instead. Possibly a mistake. But eventually Quest for Glory 5 happened.
Yeah. All right. Naming Collision says text-only games are dull. They're dull to develop. They're really tough to code and get feeling entertaining. Yes. So it's maybe the Choose Your Own Adventures could be a lot of fun, but they're not fun to write particularly.
Yeah, I think actually the real problem was that I was using Lori's very sketchy notes to do Turk's Office, and there just wasn't enough richness or depth to it to get her excited about it, because I literally coded what she had as opposed to writing a game around it. And that's the way Lori works, is she does very sketchy initial notes, and then as she's writing the game, she fills in all the detail.
So you're recommending Lord of the Rings Online?
I've heard it's great.
Yeah. And of course, Star Wars,
Bit too intense.
The Old Republic.
Yeah, we played that for a while, and
That's
Swatter.
coming out with Swatter is coming out with a new extension.
Okay.
But
So we love Star Wars: The Old Republic, but we didn't play it as an MMO. We
Yeah.
basically saw other people once in a while as we went on and did our own questing thing. And what Lori really loved about it, and both of us, was the companion characters that
The story. It was about the story.
it was the story and the companions.
Yes. Well, that's it.
And the problem was that once they got fairly deeply into it, and it took months to get through the whole companion story, is they compressed that so that they basically jumped you to level 50 or 60 or whatever it was, and you got essentially your companion's entire story, within an hour. And that to me actually spoiled it. I liked getting it slow reveal.
Writing and its tangles are weird in game development. Oop, lost it. It is quite literally what I've been doing with my peers in RIT. Why do you keep doing
Why
that?
isn't it locking?
I don't
There
know.
it is. Now it's paused.
Okay, as we made our own video, yeah.
So yeah, it's, game writing is basically instead of telling a story, you are creating a whole lot of minor interactions. Each one may be a paragraph or a few paragraphs, and then setting them up so that they can be played in almost any order
Yeah.
and have it still make sense.
Yeah.
And that's where Lori is just amazingly strong, because she has essentially a visual eidetic memory that keeps track of everything in the game world at the same time.
I'm very good at keeping track of game world things.
So when I was working on Programming Quest for Glory, I would be focused in on the particular scene I was working on and try to get that right. But Lori had the entire picture of the entire game in mind at all times, and so she'd say, "Okay, put in this this flag," or we now call them tags, to say that you've done this thing, and then some other person working in a different scene would be told, "Okay, check for this tag, and if it's set, here's what changes in the behavior." And the problem with the developers is we didn't have that, overarching, understanding of the entire game and how everything tied together. And which one was it? I guess 2 and 4 both we had problems because each section worked in isolation, but there were problems with getting to the end game because you needed all those things
Yeah,
to be
somebody
coordinated.
might set a flag, but they didn't write down what that flag was, and so later on, nobody knew what to look at it.
Yeah, so nobody looked. Yeah, it wasn't
So
used.
eventually, by 4, we were writing down the names of the flags and things. So yes, I had to learn.
And by we, she means Lori was.
Yeah, well, I am. Yes, that's true. Let's see. I feel like tools and workflows have a huge impact on how pleasant the process is. Yes, exactly. I couldn't deal with Inform. I couldn't deal with that other language that we were using for that. We spent an entire year getting for Rogue to Redemption, getting an engine to work just to do messages, and the composer is exactly what I needed.
Yeah, and this was kind of us doing a lot of hand waving because Rob Eisenberg developed that for us, and we started out by hand waving and saying, okay, at Sierra we had Mark Wilden create this thing called ME, the message editor, for us, and that was similar to a spreadsheet.
With connections, yeah.
But it was very structured spreadsheet. So you would say essentially, here's the line of dialogue, here's the person saying it, here's a noun and a verb relating to it, and a case, and then we can do a sequence on that, and then a lot of it, programming wise, was then automated, so that anything we designated as a look at. Every object, once we got to the point and click, every object in the game had, the same name as in the message editor,
Anyway,
and lookout was automated.
Faster, yeah. Okay, let's see.
I see.
Yeah, so I've heard. Oh, somebody was here for the puns, and
forget. And here we
yes,
are doing
Pray for
boring.
War came for puns. Yes, we've got.
We're betraying you.
Yes, because we're actually talking game design and things. Not just the graphics were beautiful like a movie, but the storyline was very interesting and made me want to know more and what happened next to the character. That's
in
the
Swatter,
essence.
yes. So we had a great time with Swatter for about a year. And then when they changed it to free to play, Lori kept her paid account, and I went to a free account, and I felt like it was really ham-handed the way they encouraged you to pay for your account and what you could do and what you couldn't do, and it was just kind of annoying.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question about the development of pre-CD Quest for Glory games. When do the room descriptions, dialogue, and the witty stuff come? How does an area go from an idea to something on the screen? Basically, for most of our games, they started with me writing a description of the room and some dialogue from the room. And the room descriptions then went to the artist, and the artist had to create an art for it. And then once we had the art back from the artist, the last thing that was put in was the witty the lines of what was in the room.
Yeah, so there's a lovely little 2 or 3 sentence introduction to Heroes Quest that about the late frost or whatever, and this seems like a pleasant enough town, a pleasant little town, and so on. The guys come in, and to me that really set the scene for it. And so Lori wrote that, and then described, that this is you're outside the town gates, and they can be either open or closed, and things in it. And then the artist basically got to work and gave her some sketches and said, "Here's, is this what you mean?" And then Lori would work back and forth, and does that today still. Yeah. So it's a back and forth between the artist and the programmer and the writer.
But generally, the room description text comes last when we have a final art, and it's just filled in the blanks. Yes.
Well, Lori starts out with like a 3-paragraph room description to start with.
Yes.
And that tells the artist what it's supposed to look like, and the programmer more or less what the purpose of the room was. Mm-hmm. And then she'd write in all the details once we had that.
Yeah. Flags in a narrative game. That was fun for our game. I deliberately kept the storyline simple, which is wise, where each one had exactly one flag that would be set to alternate mode if a variant track was needed. Simple, right? Except that you still need notes for which way is alternate again. Yes.
And of course, if there's only 2 choices, but they're actually separate paths, after just 8 choices, you've got 256 paths.
Yes.
And eventually it gets complicated.
So that's where it's really, really tough with these games, is to try to make sure you have control of all the threads you're sending out at the beginning. Yeah. And that you can bring them back, weave them back into
you want to weave them back so they get back to the main storyline, mm-hmm. or a small number of main storylines. You could probably have 3 or 4 storylines go through. And people thought we were absolutely insane for making a game where the fighter, the magic user, and the thief each had separate puzzles and paths through the game. And so we tried to make it so it was the same game for all of them, but we were probably crazy.
Well, yeah.
We made a lot of extra work. It's hard enough to get a game to work at all.
So yes, we are extremely crazy. I mean, the decision to go Monkey Island style is what I would say, with having a protagonist like Sean to be the main character, was because it's a different way of telling the story, and I really wanted to explore that. I thought that we could, create a different mood than the Quest for Glory games, but still
so the hero in Heroes Quest has no real personalities. Whatever personality the player puts on top of it, and that's why we didn't give the hero any dialogue. Everybody else talks to him, and he just has generic ask about river or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the hero really has no personality, but players put the personality on it.
And that's the way we wanted it to be, because we really wanted that to be your avatar to the world. But then, it's very interesting to do it from the character's point of view too. So that's why we went with that. Let's see. And I remember playing Quest for Glory 4 at the age of 6 or 7 and being too scared to leave the town even during the daytime. That was wise of you.
Whereas I played EverQuest and did leave the town, went wandering on the fields and got attacked by a monster that felt like it was about 10 times my level and wiped me out in seconds. And then I had to run back to my body. That wasn't exactly compelling. It's going to pop over here. Keep talking.
Let's see. I was going to say, yes. I didn't understand what the characters were saying exactly. It was very fun and a precious experience. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes. Getting lost in the woods, desert, savannah, etc. was always so immersive in Quest for Glory games. Wandering into the alleyway in Quest for Glory 2 for the first time was magical to me. Wow, I'm glad it was magical for you. For many people, it was a pain in the ass. Yes. It's also true that when you have many branching paths, you also don't want to get back to the main storyline too quickly and too often, because you can leave an impression that a player's choices are meaningless. Yes, the trying to give the player real agency, really be able to affect the story, and yet, if you want to have a plot line that is going to be, maintainable, you have to have it come down to the main storyline. So my approach to it, at any rate, was to give the player, other things to do, that, so that your thief had alternate path and things like that, so that they actually did do something, but they'd have to come to the main storyline eventually. Yes. Look, Corpse, I don't have time for your nonsense. Yes. What was the favorite, most imagined, accurate Arana's Garden? Honestly, my favorite Arana's Garden, Arana's Peace version, was probably the one we wrote in the kids' book that nobody has read, but few of you have read, because it described the area as very different. It was much more entertaining than we ever did in a game. But I love the beauty of Arana's Peace and Arana's. I love the one in Tarna, was very, very nice. And then there was the one in Quest for Glory 4, which was magical. The only one that wasn't very particularly impressive was the one in 5, personally.
So speaking of 5, I was just looking through our documents. I couldn't find the earlier games, but here's one of Lori's room descriptions from Quest for Glory 5. So this is typical of what she'll do. Is she'll write this document. It's just a couple paragraphs, and then during the development of the game, we'll add more and more stuff to it. So this is room 210, northeastern part of the town. Shows the exits, which is going back to original adventure, Colossal Cave Adventure and stuff. Those games, you had exits. It's an entrance to the inn, the magic shop, and teleport to Arcane Island. It has a little description. The inn, you can read that.
All right, let's see. The inn lies the north section of the screen. It's stark Greek architecture painted in garish colors. The word inn is engraved in the top in Greek-style lettering. Above the word is hand-painted Gnomes Ann's Land. The painting on the inn should remind the player of a circus or something similar, tasteless, bright, and hopelessly cheerful. The entrance to the inn should be set to the left of center. Now that was the description that room was supposed to have.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the King's one, or is this...
This is Quest for Glory 5.
But is this the real one?
That's the real one, I think.
No.
You think this is the original?
This is original.
Oh, well, this is the original. This was back when it was...
This is not the one we went into the game.
Oh, well, back when it was Hero's Crown?
This is Hero's Crown.
That's Quest for Glory 5. We didn't have a name.
Yeah. This is Hero's
Actors,
Crown.
dragon statue, assassin running through. Purpose, puzzle to visit Erasmus. Enters and exits chasing after the assassin. Staging, dragon statue must be visible and animated in the lower corner. Teleport circle and ground nearby must also be very obvious. You will walk on a teleport and be sent to... So one of the problems... Yeah, go ahead. Talk about that.
Wow. Yeah, well, I was just going to talk about... This is our first script. This was a script for Quest for Glory 5 that did not get made. It would have been very different. Yes. Yes. It would have been very, very different if we had created the game when we were going to,
so
which was just after Quest for Glory 4.
Room documents. We made a series of little documents on features of the game. So this was the article on romance. The hero in solo mode may court a person.
This is in 1997.
97.
97.
Okay, so this was actually close to release. The game released in 98. So you were still working on it at this point, and finally got around to figuring out what it should have.
I didn't do this one. This is yours.
Oh, okay. So this was technical documentation.
Technical
Oh, okay. The fact that it's a Boolean check
yes,
flags.
I did not do
the fact that I wrote pseudocode in it, you
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have done that.
Yes, look at the date modified on these things. Oh, yes, because they kept having to be updated as things are. Yeah. There it says
129, 2022.
Wow, that's great.
Got today's date on it.
Jeez.
So apparently just opening it caused it to update the date without
Yeah.
changing anything. Neywar is the greediest and easiest of the lot to convince to marry the hero. Except later on, Lori decided that each of these has a preference in character types,
Yes.
and that
So look, this is the requirements for if you
Yeah.
ever wanted to date her, you had to give her some gifts.
okay. So if Ego gives any of these items to Neywar, set the Neywar gift flag listed: flowers, jewelry, beads, sokolatakya, which is chocolate. Found that in a English Greek dictionary.
I had a dictionary that I used.
You must
for
say
those
at
things.
least 5 of the 6 following things. You have to flirt, compliment her clothes, tell her she's beautiful, compliment her dancing, ask for a kiss, tell her you love her.
Yes.
5 out of 6, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, I know.
You have
You
to
had
do at least 3 of the following actions. And if ego is Sierra's generic name for the player character, was the ego. And that was the character that you can control that walks around. If Ego does any of these things, set the flag listed, count the number of these flags set when all 3 flags are set. So this was a technical documentation that I wrote, so I did have a purpose. I wasn't entirely useless in these games, just mostly are Lori's. Mm-hmm. So you can see there's quite a bit of detail that goes on to thinking about what the player can do and letting them do it in any order. So that's the idea of having the flags and counters and things. Is you need to keep track, and the player can't flirt with her 6 times and get that to count. So you have to have a different flag for each one, and then only if the flag is not set, then you increment the counter of the number of things he's done. So there's a lot of these little technical details that are not very punny. I'm sorry. Gave Elsa teeth. Hydra teeth.
Hydra teeth, yes.
Yuck, how romantic.
Yeah, I know.
No-nos. You must not do 2 of the 2 things. Taunt her in a challenge, and when you meet in Hero's bedroom, you should not ask for a kiss. That's the wrong kiss. Why is that? Because it's naughty?
I think so. Yeah, probably.
She won't marry
You're in the middle of a serious situation, and Hero asks her for a kiss. It's like, boy, there's no mood here for a kiss. It's not time for romance. Yes.
So, unfortunately, a lot of these games is reading the designer's mind, and we try to do that as little as possible. But Lori has essentially a picture in her mind of how she wants the game to feel, and the idea is to break that down into so many technical details that we try to simulate that feel. So all these games are really simulations in some level. But yeah, this I'm just still looking at this document. It just goes on and on and on and on. I'm on page 6, 7,
Yeah, well,
8.
that's Iran, and there's Katrina. So
Okay.
each one required
This
their
is all
own,
the different romances.
Yeah, own romance, and all of the flags that were set is here.
I used the letter F for flag at the
Yeah.
beginning of them.
Yeah.
Originally, the first few Quest for Glories, all through 1 through 4. Let me go back to camera. Quest for Glory 1 through 4 were all done with the Variations original SCI, which meant that it was designed to run on IBM PC architecture, actually MS-DOS even before Windows. And that worked on Intel architecture, where it was a paged architecture. Only had 64K of memory to work on for a room. So everything in a room had to fit in that 64K of memory. And we really couldn't afford that many variables. So flags were global, and they used a single bit. So we had an array of about, 100 bytes or something like that. They were all bit flags. That let us get up to 800 flags. And if each one of those had been a variable, we would have run out of memory in no time. So that's why flags instead of variables. And people today are so wasteful. Use a 32-bit integer for something that could have used a 1-bit flag. Yeah, SCI was actually, I think, Lisp-based originally. It is a reverse Polish notation. Um, so it's not like A equals B plus 15. It would be equal sign plus A 15. B 15. Sorry. uh, A equal sign plus B 15, I think, would be the syntax. So it looks really weird when you first encounter it, but after working with it for a year or so, it gets kind of natural, automatic.
Hit
Quest
Control
for Glory
A.
5,
Hit Control A.
Control A.
I want to make it easier to read.
Oh, why don't we just make it bigger?
Well,
Oh, okay, you can do that.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how I make it bigger.
Except it's highlighted, so it makes it hard to read.
It won't be if I click off.
It's still hard to read.
It is hard to read, but
of course, we have a little screen. There may be full screen.
There are better screens than ours. So this is the original Quest for Glory notes. This is how I start out writing things. This is the ideas. Okay, need to remember the catapin. That was the remember that we had a flag set for the catapin. And if you have the catapin, it's going to be used in this. I had to refer to it in some place.
And at that original stage, Lori and I, when we were first started on Hero's Crown, I was actually full-time on design of the project. So this was actually a collaboration where we would talk back and forth and say, okay, here's the kind of things you want to do with it. And
you can see we had a lot of the things. Ugarte's the first to die. Oh, no. And
spoilers!
Rakish's son.
First drugged, second drugged.
Yeah, Rakish's son doesn't have a name in this, and he's the second drugged, yes.
Flesh Golem hero.
Yeah. So, Dr. Mabuse.
Yeah, so we came up with the idea with having a Jekyll and Hyde in there right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And Agrama was No Man's actual name.
Yes. So, yes.
Speaking
Wolfie,
of puns.
Andre, Funny Bones, Queen of Atlantis, Guardian of the Underworld, and Rakish on the Isle of Kings.
So, a lot of the story was there from the beginning. But one of the things I say constantly, where do you get your ideas? I say, actually, ideas are the easy part. I no longer say that quite as much. Ideas are hard, too. But you have to have like 1,000 or more ideas to make a game.
Yeah.
It's got lots and lots of ideas, and the trick is to make them fit together, be consistent, get a game where everything makes sense. The Sybil is considered to be named Delia, actually,
Delia, yeah.
And Oracle Island was Delos.
Let's see. Was the Dead Parrot Inn supposed to be bigger? It was supposed to be actually much smaller than it wound up in the game. The game, every room started to get bigger and bigger because of the camera problem of having too many objects in a screen. So the rooms just got gigantic
And when we started this design, we were still in SCI.
Right.
And so we would have been 256 colors, but was it 640 by 400 or 320 by, I think it was 640 by
640,
400 or 400
yes,
or 480. But we would have had, the proscenium stage style that we used in the first.
Right. So
basically all Sierra games.
So
used
Dead Parrot would have been as small and normal as one screen, maybe two,
and maybe a second screen for the upstairs.
Yeah. For the casino part, so it wouldn't have been any bigger.
So things got a lot bigger when we went to 3D, and that was something we always wanted, was at least for players to be able to turn around and see the entire room.
Yeah.
But besides the fact that SCI didn't support that, it means that you now have to have every object in the room interactable instead of just the ones we choose to give you.
Do you wish you had kept Quest for Glory 5 in SCI? There were so many things I could not have done in SCI. I loved, honestly, the thing that I enjoyed out of the game, because I honestly enjoyed playing Quest for Glory 5 when I was making it, when it was ready to make, was the fact that you could go to those islands and have tactical fights of trying to figure out where to avoid the monsters that were not on a predictable pattern, that were not every monster and every brigand on those things had complicated AI that would have them just path themselves around. So you really had to have a complicated fight, and you can never have done that on
Yeah,
on
so
SCI and things like that.
yeah, so SCI was very restrictive. We had very little memory. I mean, we had a hell of a time doing the alleyways in Quest for Glory 2. And for that matter, the desert, that Jerry Moore, one of the artists, came up with the idea of using overlays that were available in the graphic system for SCI, and came up with a way of making every desert scene slightly different using overlays and what we call add to pics, which are little, just basically putting on a bush or something into the screen, and gave the desert all that variation. But the alleyways, Mark Wilden developed that, and that was like his first thing he did as he came to work for Sierra. And, he was told object-oriented language. What he wasn't told was that there was a limitation to maximum of 40 object classes or some number like that.
You were working on it first before you flew your brain out, yeah.
No, I was working in the desert. I didn't work in the alleys at all.
I thought you did the alleys.
No, that was all Mark Weldon.
Mark Weldon.
And Mark spent about 3 or 4 months working those alleyways, which was a luxury that Sierra never would have given us normally, but we got away with it. That was just a huge amount of work trying to get those to work. And originally, we were going to have combat in the alleys and stuff, and there was just no way we could fit that into 64K.
We had to kill all of that stuff out of there. Every game will, yes, all of our Quest for Glory games had you be able to send your character stats over to the next game, including Quest for Glory 5, because that's where we were setting up for being able to tell whether you had children, who you married, who your children would be as a result.
Yeah, so CT's question is, could we jump a character, could we play a character in Quest for Glory 1 and import it into Quest for Glory 5? And I believe the answer was yes.
Yes, I believe so.
And what we did is we basically scaled your stats so that you would start out with, 300s or whatever instead of,
you would go to the 100. Base level. Every game had a different base level of what was the starting point.
That was a trick I came up with, the whole idea of importing the character and so on, and of having the games, the challenge level go up. I picked up from games like Wizardry.
Yes.
And Wizardry had exactly 2 games that worked that way, and then it broke, because even in the first game you could do the Tilt-A-Wait spell, which was their nuclear annihilation spell, and where do you go up from there? So they gave you too much at the beginning. So we intentionally kept the power level relatively low in the first couple games, so we'd have a place to build. And I pulled from Rollmaster the idea of having stats be 0 to 100 rather than 3 to 18. And that way I could play a trick on you, because in Rollmaster, that's your limit, 0 to 100. And that appeared to be the limit in Quest for Glory, but actually the first game you'd get up to 100, second game you get up to 200, third game up to 300, and so on.
We wanted you to really feel like you were progressing in the game, so that if you'd come back at the end of the game to Quest for Glory 1 to Spielberg, you could have basically, blown on any of those monsters and they would have fallen over dead at the end of the game,
So, if we had had the luxury of a full team and a solid budget and an extra year, because almost all our games were done in 1 year, which was too little to make that complex a game, then I would have loved to have done Quest for Glory 5 in the style of Quest for Glory 4 and gotten it out in probably 96 instead of 98.
Yes. And it would have been beautiful. I mean, it would
have been a wonderful game.
It would have been much prettier. It wouldn't be the same game. Why I said I wouldn't want to do it is because Quest for Glory 5 went in directions we were not intending to. And it really became its own game with a lot of different things and much more richness, because I had 2 years of luxury of just writing this thing, which I wouldn't have had if we had been
so the extra time we got, and we got a much higher budget. So the first thing that happened, as we were getting ready to, Lori and I had done about 2 or 3 months of design work on Quest for Glory 5, and then I got called into the engineering director's office, and basically given the ultimatum that Ken Williams had decreed that all budgets would be cut by 20%. And only afterwards did I realize that I'll bet the company doesn't even know what the budget was for Quest for Glory 4. I don't think anyone kept track of it very well, and perhaps I'm wrong on that, but what he was looking at was Phantasmagoria that completely blew through its budget and cost the company over $3 million to make, and all the games had been like, $500,000 or less to make before that. And I basically took it literally and said, Quest for Glory 4 cost $750,000 to make. It was a disaster. Quest for Glory 4 was released long before it was finished and crashed constantly, and the game just didn't work. And we actually convinced Sierra management that it was a disaster and was, bad for the company's goodwill and reputation. So that was when they came up with a new budget, assigned one of the programmers to stay on and just fix bugs for a year. And we went into the voice studio and got John Rhys Davis and the rest of the crew to do the CD-ROM version of Quest for Glory 4. So I basically said, okay, this is effectively a $900,000 to $1 million is the budget we need to do a game of that level.
So Corey basically told the truth to the powers that be.
And there's a song about that. Mm-hmm. Tell the truth to a man you love.
You trust.
Do you trust the
truth to
a man you love?
No.
No?
The truth. Tell the truth to a man you trust. The truth to a man you fear. Lie to a woman because you must.
But since whatever you do or say, they'll never believe you anyway, lie, lie, lie to a general, lie to a brigadier. So my problem is I've never been a good liar. Yeah. And what I should have done, I decided, a couple weeks later, is I should have gone to, was it Mark? What's his name?
Weldon?
No.
Mark,
the other guy.
Crow.
No, not him either.
Got to go through all the marks that were out there.
I think it was a Mark.
It was a Mark.
Well, Mark was also our producer on Quest for Glory 5, eventually. Different Mark.
Different Mark, yeah.
Anyway, what I should have done is said, okay, we will...
Mark Hood, yes.
Mark Hood,
correct, thank you.
Mark Hood. Mark Hood, the engineering director. So I should have said, yes, okay, we will really...
try to get
tighten,
under budget. Yes.
Yeah, we will tighten our, the sails, and we will get in there, sail into port under those conditions, and then gone and done whatever we did. So what actually happened?
I mean, we never got a trip to Germany to take pictures. I mean, what was this? Our budget was the one that was going to
Gabriel
be cut?
Knight. Yes, yes. All these other ones, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill worked on someone else's game.
Not ours.
And Tim, what's his name?
What did Nicole? Huh?
So yeah, we got John Rhys Davis, so it was okay. So anyway,
I would have liked Tim Curry on our games. I'll tell you.
Tim Curry, yeah. Anyway, all these other games, we were very serious and very tried to do the best we could at keeping the games tight and getting them done on schedule.
Yeah, I'm crazy, so
we didn't go crazy with it. And these other projects were going crazy meanwhile, and because of that, rules got made that unfortunately were applied to us. So I should have said, okay, we'll do that now, and then that means we need to get the game done for $1 million, right? Just assuming that he probably didn't know that the previous one only cost $750. So a couple years later, massive fan letter writing campaign and new management at Yosemite Entertainment needed a major title, and they brought back Laurie for Quest for Glory 5. And that had initially a $1.5 million budget and 18-month schedule. And the project completely blew. They decided to create a new engine for it instead of using SCI on the grounds that by now it had been 2 more years and SCI was just too long in the tooth. So lots of good decisions for good reasons, but completely blew through the budget. I estimated it actually cost over $4 million by the time it was shipped. It took over 3 years.
It did.
And we would have gotten the game done much sooner. It would have been gorgeous, but it would not have had all the amazing things like being able to swim into Atlantis. And,
all of the stuff that you could do. All the real advantage of the 3D was actually we did our best to take advantage of it.
And the mass battles with AI for every
and the layers
creature.
and layers of story that was in it. So yes, some people discard 5 as being just a role playing. I mean a hack and slash game, whereas it's gotten more story than all the other ones.
And I've had to laugh because many times they said, well, obviously, 5 didn't have enough time or budget, to finish it, and it actually, Quest for Glory 1, we started planning the July or August before working on it, but we didn't really start working on the game until January, and it shipped in October. So we had 10 months of production on that game, and manufacturing discs and stuff. 11 months for Quest for Glory 2. And in hindsight, those were ridiculously short amounts of time for the complexity we built in the games.
Quest for Glory 5 was my first game that I bought with my own money. Good. It also came with a music CD, as I recalled. Yes, that music CD was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
When the Microsoft deal is done, you guys should reach out to them about doing something with QFG. You wouldn't even know who to talk to. Phil Spencer was talking in an interview about how he wants to survive. Yeah, and that's what people want to hear. So he said it, and he may actually be a real fan.
I mean, at least he knew some titles there.
Yeah, that's a start. But whether we'd actually be able to even get through to him. Gulliver's Travels had the concept of flappers, which were really important people you couldn't go to directly. So instead, they had people whose job was to flap a bladder by their ear to get their attention, and that you would go through like 4 or 5 layers of flappers. And Heinlein talks about this in one of his books of the you want to get to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and you need to go through 5 layers of flappers to talk to him.
Okay.
So you never talk to the man himself.
Yes. Yeah.
And that would be the thing with Phil Spencer. We'd have to get through all his flappers before we could actually get to him.
I still have my copy of the CD. The second track is still my favorite. My copy of the CD actually had a scratch on it, and I put it on my computer. So now in the archives of my hard drive, there is a scratched version of that CD. It still sounds it. I mean, it was so bad. It still has that sound in it. There are a few people.
The Dryad music was amazing.
Yes, actually, yes. Phil Spencer actually mentioned King's Quest, and so that's really interesting. It has a lot of potential. We shall see.
The problem, of course, is that Laurie's hair has gone white, and I've lost most of mine. I do have a little on the edges still. I'm not quite bald.
Yes, yeah.
We're old, and so I don't know if they'd want to work with
old
people.
That's ageism is also a thing too.
In fact, we were old when we did Heroes Quest.
Yes, I know. We were never young.
We were over 30. We're 33.
Because we'd had the 33 and a third birthday party for a friend.
Oh, okay. So we were in our early 30s by the time we even started at Sierra, and people like Richard Garriott, when he started working at Ultima, was like 14 or 15.
The children that started these game companies, and we're not that. Yeah.
Ken and Roberta Williams were about 18. Or about 20, I think, when they started Sierra.
I installed and uninstalled over and over just to hear the Dryad music. Yeah.
So anyway, so we are glad that we actually got the time and budget. Of course, Quest for Glory 5 was on the verge of cancellation 3 or 4 times during the process, and each time Jay Usher managed to convince the executive management.
Not as much, because they had no alternative at that point.
Well, so effectively Yosemite Entertainment, that was the title.
Yes.
And they needed to get the game done.
I don't know what happened to the Realm. It was supposed to be being developed at the same time, and somehow everything got diverted over into Quest for Glory 5, and there was just
so
nothing.
If you go to Moby Games and look at our developer list for Quest for Glory 5, I think it's close to 100 developers.
Including they had to bring over 2 Indian programmers from India, because they were the only ones that understood how to program in C.
C++, yeah.
C++, because our programmers that were original Sierra people had no clue how to program in
they
real
asked
language.
They read about a training course in C++ and asked to go to that, and was like, $1,500 or something, and Sierra decided they didn't want to spend $6,000 to train 4 people in C++. So instead, they sat in their hands for about a year at the beginning of Quest for Glory 5.
They didn't have anything
They
to
programmed
program.
nothing because they couldn't program.
They didn't know. I mean, they
And-
couldn't. There was nothing to program with, and so they couldn't program. And they didn't learn how to program C in that time. So by the time that the engine was ready for them to work on, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, so I came on, I had actually been, because I mentioned that I didn't take the offer initially to go to work in the systems department and switch over eventually to Quest for Glory 5, if they did it. So I was off at another company. I was working for Accolade at the time. And I came in as a consultant a year into the project. And they told me they were, getting ready to ship it, and they wanted to hire me on a 3-month contract to finalize the game. And it was at that point I discovered that we had an engine and that nobody had looked at Laurie's 500-page design Bible.
Yeah.
So there was no content in the game.
The Realm is still online, yes, but it is run by fans.
Yeah, so it's a fan version
It's
of
a
it.
fan version, and it is just fans developing it.
Which is perfectly cool.
Yeah,
I believe they did get the source code from the original
I'm
developers.
pretty sure they
yeah.
did.
So anyway, I came in. I don't want to say, I was some power ground and I did it all, because I didn't. I did a very small part of Quest for Glory 5. But what I did is I talked to Eric Lingell, the lead programmer, and said that we need a scripting engine, and I explained how scripting worked in SCI for the programmers to work with, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll throw that together." And like a week later,
He didn't do the thrifting.
Yeah, he did.
All right, then.
it was still in C++, but it was basically allowed them to use switch and cases to do the equivalent
And of course, I got Frank Kane to do the
a
message editor.
new version of the message
Yeah.
editor that Laurie worked with.
And turns out that the people up north in doing King's, or I guess it was the Gabriel Knight team, wanted something similar, and they were trying to develop something similar to the message editor, and eventually, and then they lost contact with us, and so they never got our version of this message editor, which was a very, very robust
and elegant tool, yes.
scripting language for the developer, for the designers to use.
So years later, we did some consulting for Oded Sharon and Adventure Mob in Tel Aviv, Israel, on a game, and they used a third-party tool that let you string together a whole lot of boxes so that you could create dialogue and the flow of a scene by stringing together these things, so you could have conditionals and stuff like that. So the first version of the composer for Hero U was actually using another thing that used literally spaghetti. Well, not literally spaghetti, but something that looked like spaghetti on the screen. There were all these curvy lines going between the nodes and tying them together. And it was really great and really cool and really fun, except it wasn't designed for tens of thousands of interactions that we ended up putting in the game. So we eventually had to go with something that was more like Message Editor.
Is anybody else just loving these streams and sitting in awe at your heroes, as your heroes sit and talk directly
Your
to you?
heroes.
I know I am.
Well, great. We're glad. Yay, thank you.
That's our whole point.
It has absolutely nothing to do with our
Right,
theme.
we had nothing to do with our
We're
theme.
supposed to do like a pun contest
We
and
were
stuff.
supposed to do a
Oh,
pun
well.
contest. Yes.
Maybe we'll do Punderland Part 2 next
We'll
2
do
weeks.
some pun. Well, yeah.
We are going to miss a stream in 1 month from now. 4 weeks
Yeah.
from now, we will be in Maui.
I think we missed 2 of them.
I thought we were only missing 1.
I don't know.
Anyway, we are going to miss a stream. I think the one that is 2 from now, but 2 weeks we'll be on.
Yeah, we will be going to Hawaii.
Anyway, so yeah, we went through. So what these tools are for? When I interviewed for a game company down in Carlsbad, California, and they. I also talked with Blizzard Entertainment. What they both had was a very technical looking thing, like a Windows editor for putting elements in a window and stuff. But they had things that let you set up all the conditionals and all the structure for design. And that was their design editor, and tied very heavily into the visuals and stuff. We had another tool at Sierra that let us They called it the Tester. The Tester was actually a small game written in SCI that let an artist or a programmer place objects, choose a background, pick characters and put them on the screen and so on, set their places, and then it would output SCI game code that you could just copy and paste into your game. So these tools make it possible to make these games, because that's a question people ask is, these games are so complicated. How do I go about making something like that? And the answer is always one little bit at a time. But if you have the right tools, it helps.
Yes. So there are tools out there. I don't think there are tools that would allow you to do Imagination Network, but there are tools that would allow you to do a Sierra game.
I think you could. Well, all right. Imagine as in multiplayer and stuff.
Multiplayer and all
there may well be, but like the Adventure Games Studio, is that what's called? AGS, I think.
The AGS
is what a lot of people like. Wajidai Games has used that for most or all of their games. And that's a thing that is very similar to SCI and similar to SCUM that Lucas used. Lets you make 2D adventure games.
So you too can make your own 2D adventure game. All you have to do is have, a budget, an artist, a musician, all of these things. Unless you do it yourself.
Yeah, you can make simple. If you have a little bit of art talent and can make simple characters and so on, the animating them is its own thing, but you can actually use things like Poser.
I mean, we've seen
to build character models. There are tools that let you do to animate characters.
And there are games out there that have minimum budget and actually are successful.
Yeah, I'm thinking of West of Loathing. I haven't played it, but it is effectively a stick figure game that I'm told was inspired by Quest for Glory and has been a very successful game that has all the humor and so on, but they didn't bother to try and make realistic looking characters. To us, realism is beautiful. So we tried to make, even though there's a cartoon.
Well, it doesn't have to be realism. I mean, cartoons can be beautiful.
Yeah, but it's a cartoon realism. Our cartoons in Hero U are pretty damn realistic.
Yeah, but that's because we couldn't do. Yeah, well, that's why we. That's the only thing we could pull off. Honestly. It was not that we wanted to make them ultra realistic. We actually had them slightly more cartoony when we started out, but we could not develop them like that. We couldn't animate them properly.
Okay, CT Cross CB says, I wish I could get the source code to the Imagination Network. There is, in fact, a project called the Sierra Barn, because Imagination Network was developed in a separate building from the Sierra headquarters that had originally been a restaurant named the Old Barn. And there is a project called the Sierra Barn that is running a current build of the Imagination Network. So there is a place where you can play Imagination Network today. So somebody had the code. Okay. Oh, you helped to get the Sierra Barn back online. Do they not have all the original source code? I would assume they must. I can't understand how they work otherwise. Does anyone still have any of the clay models? Go get a clay model.
Yeah.
A very small number of them.
Yes. Well, actually, John Bach maybe has more. He had a whole box of them at one time.
So Lori is fetching a clay model, if she can get it off the shelf, because it's still slightly soft and sticks.
It's the soft clay.
It's the soft clay.
That never.
And I'm amazed they've survived this long.
Yeah, I know.
Here is Abdullah Du and Fenris in full 3D. I've tilted a little. Sitting on an interesting tray. It's just feels like a ceramic tray.
I don't know what it is.
It doesn't feel like plastic.
But they worked at,
but yeah, these are amazing detail they worked in. Was it John Bach's idea to do the claymation?
I think so.
So this is not technically claymation.
No, the ones in Quest for Glory remake.
Yeah, but these this was used for the character modeling. In real claymation, you just constantly contort the clay things to do your animation, and they did not do that. They just made models out of clay. So we saved a few treasures, and somehow we transported that from Oakhurst down here to Oceanside, and they survived. Amazing.
Yes, and of course they are soft clay, so they'll never harden. They're rubber. They're greasy and things like that.
Do we want to do
first time chat from viewer? Thank you, Hilgram, for joining us.
Hi, Hilgram. I have a sister-in-law named Hillary.
I see. So yeah.
Former almost president of the United States, Hillary?
No, not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite. Let's see. Yes.
All right. Did we want to run a game, and did we want to,
Well,
or did you
yeah.
want to do a pun game, or
We should
just?
do our. Let's run a game because we didn't pun enough.
Okay,
but
no puns. We may have to do this puns
We
again.
have to pun again.
But we did a lot more dev
We
talk
needed,
than usual.
yes, we did a more. Sorry about that, people. We should have.
Well, other people are happy about it.
Somebody should get molds and do some casts. That is a possibility I haven't thought of. I could do a clay cast of those things. I mean, a plaster cast, which is the right way to do it. Although I'm not sure it can do it without destroying them. You know, that's a problem.
I have over on this desktop the phrase flummoxer name came up with by
Valiant
Cheeseness,
Cheese,
Valiant
yes,
Cheese,
yeah.
who Lori had originally done this in Photoshop. It was a pain, so he built a tool for us, and we give him a little free publicity. He has a
Here's his free publicity.
his beehive.
Yeah.
Beehives. What's it called? I forgot.
Well,
Who cares?
He does.
He makes games.
Yes, go show him his his site. You get to the
Oh,
other,
okay.
you give him free
We'll
publicity.
go to itch.io.
You don't have it?
Well, Cheesenest.
There.
Cheesenest.itch.io. Okay. Here's one of his experimental games. In the Snowy Winter's Wake is up here on itch.io, and I'll put the URL right in my sidebar. This is a Sierra-style game that the idea was just moving the mouse around to do things, but view all by Cheeseness. Oh, these are fun.
Yeah.
Bigger games.
Hive
Bad
Time.
Egg is his latest. I don't know anything about Bad Egg. Hive Time was his one with beehives. So that's a very complete professional
there's a
game.
Snowy Time Wake has a playable demo, so we should do that the
There we
next
go.
time.
So
we should put
we
that
should
on
play
our
the
list.
playable demo.
Yes, we should do that next time. We'll put it
And
on
Hive Time passed 60,000 downloads earlier this year.
Wow,
Nice.
the congratulations.
And at 60,000 sales, Hero You Rogue to Redemption at list price, or close to it, would have broken even by now. And, oh well. Money. Who needs money?
Yeah. Okay,
So we've made our advertisement for Cheeseness. The phrase flummoxer. I am going to start up a queue. I need to close this. Go to queue. See if it's a... All right. I am going to open a queue for phrase.
that's only 929 sales. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the problem.
60,000 sales would have put you in a different position. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right, so yes, here's phrase flummoxer.
So yeah, our inspiration for doing Hero You Rogue to Redemption is Andrew Golding, who did Jolly Rover and MacGuffin's Curse. Basically offered the game for us, and he told us he had 100,000 sales. So later on, we learned that most of his 100,000 sales were on a Humble Bundle, in which he got $1 per sale, and that's money. That's a good year's income for someone, but it isn't a good 5 years income for a team of 30.
Yep. Oh well.
So
right.
join that queue, and we will let you pick letters for this game. And right now we have 5 people so far in the queue, and I'd like to see closer to 50, but 20 will do. We have 42 people online, so let's get half of you into this queue.
Those people that are
Right.
actually watching the queue and not just doing their laundry or fixing supper.
If you're here, type !play. And we'll assume that anyone who doesn't type !play is probably not really watching the stream.
Yes, I feel like it's super important to qualify full price equivalent sales these days when talking numbers. Yes, because...
I actually budgeted for half price. We had a list price of $35 originally, and I budgeted based on, I think, $15 or $20 average sale price. But it turns out that the real average sale price is closer to $10, and we get about $7 of that.
So, yes.
So if we get $7 a copy, somewhere around 60,000 to 80,000, I would be able to pay back our investor who came in and saved us at the last minute.
Naming Collision is playtesting his own game right now, and yeah.
And I'll try to play here, too. Okay, that's enough people.
I've won too many prizes. Okay, Red.
Sitting in the background, that's fine. Oh, by the way, people from last stream, we have no idea who were the winners.
Yeah,
I think Belixar was one of them, and I think Rich Gen X was one of them. But you need to send messages to support@herou.net, which I'll type in again. Message support@hero-u.net if you win. Because otherwise I don't keep track of it. That's by email. Message by email. Rich thinks he sent an email, but I couldn't find it, so maybe send me another one. And I'll eventually get around doing prizes. I'm a month or two behind on prizes. I had other things in my mind. This is tax season for us, so I get to play certified public uncertified private accountant for a bit. All right, I'm going to pick some names. The first three people in the queue are Schumann 3D Blast, OSU Brainiac, and Naming Collision. So over here in the chat, I would like you to each put in a couple of letters, and I'll put them in. Why don't all three of you each put in 2 letters, and we'll get them in right away. And we can do some more. This is a phrase. Belixar won the Wordle for a game. Oh, yeah, he helped me win Wordle, is what it was. Retro Rents Al won phrase Flummoxer, possibly also for a game code. Okay, please send me an email with that. I will lose track of it. All right, we have E.T. phoning home. There's an E, there's a T. Then we have a TS. Okay. And an MN. Oh, there's no M's. No M's anywhere in the phrase. Your turn's over. Now, the way this works is this is similar to Wheel of Fortune, except the vowels are legal. You can ask for vowel. And we give you just the first occurrence of it. So with an E as the second letter, there could be any number of E's after the second letter. There's, however, no T in the first line of this message, and only one in the second line. So after this T, the rest of it, there could be any number of T's. And eventually you're going to find some phrases. So let's get a couple of more letters. I'll pick some more names, but keep giving me letters. I've now lost track of everybody. Next 3 names are Valiant Cheese, Belixar, and Molly Metroid. Any of the 5 people still in the game should give me some letters. There's an AI. They're both there. An OF. They're both there. EE. EE. For cheeseness. Or cheese, anyway. And Schumann wants Q and Z. He likes to eliminate the losing letters. No Q's. No Z's. You're doubly eliminated. Belixar wants a U, an L, and an S. And all of those are there. So anyone who hasn't been eliminated, give me some more letters. And then pretty soon I'll add more people in. First word is Being. What's the Incredible Lightness of Being was a film. BG. There we go.
Being.
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 SS. Now, this phrase is probably from one of our games, or could be from something relevant to the theme of puns. IN. Imagination Network. Being a hero, but hero doesn't fit with the third word. I'm going to pick the last 3 people we have in the queue. And that is Paul of Colchester, Chrono Travis, and Phantom Beaver. And everybody's in the queue can give me some more letters.
Being a Hino! Yes, that must be it!
It could be a hind, like the Golden Hind. Could be a hind, like the Golden Hind.
Could be. Being a wino! Yeah.
PR. I'm on the wrong focus.
Yeah.
Okay, PR. Both of those exist.
Ah, okay.
Being a wino, YKC. Y, there's a Y. There is a K.
Hey,
there is a C.
C.
I did go through this earlier. I discovered it uses 21 of the 26 letters in the alphabet. There's only 5 failed letters, which nobody even found. Did I do the, where am I?
You did YKC, so now CL.
CL. Oh, no more L's.
No more L's.
There's only one L, and you could have told that because the L was in the last letter of the phrase.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Can't be any more L's.
All right, KG.
KG.
KGB.
Is there. KE. There are a lot of Ks.
Wow, unlike it being a sink.
We have 3 Ks so far.
Being a kink, it could have been.
A kink. Ah. The Kinks was a group that was popular when I was young. Being a king is never a good
I am proud
idea.
of myself for finding a failed letter in the.
Let's get a V and an A. Very good. Yes. So they're showing up. You may not be able to see it clearly, but
a V and an A.
let me finish this.
Okay.
If a letter is red, it does not appear on the phrase at all. If it is yellow, it's been used too many times, and you'll never see another one. A VA followed by no V's, no more V's. AN.
AN.
Okay, we have a word. Peasant. Pun, of course. XE. X. There is an X.
There is an X. How about
and
that?
There's another
There's
E.
another E. All right, I gotta
go, says Molly. Nice seeing you. Be well. Get better.
Yes, get better.
Serves
you right.
Peasant friends. Oh, come on. Who would write something like that?
Yes.
All right. Should we add more people to the queue?
Well, just people start giving us letters.
Okay, everybody start giving me letters.
Yeah,
APR, A, P, R. All those exist.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Eden Waith.
I was sure it was about being a wino. It's about the homeless guy in Quest for Glory 1. Sam was a beggar.
Well, there was also the homeless guy in Quest for Glory 4.
Yeah.
Sam was just a beggar. No evidence he liked to involve in fermented spirit. But there certainly were characters.
N.
All right. N. There's an N.
There is.
A D. There's an H.
An I and a G.
I and a G. All those are there. Being a king is never a pleasant experience. Serfs you.
That's the reason he was set in the army, the alley next to the
Okay,
pub.
somebody wants a U and an R. So serfs with a U is not the correct word because the first U was after that. Second U was after that. So, and Rich said X correct said it should be serfs.
All right, did we get the RY? Did we get the
UR, I think.
INE?
The INE we didn't get.
All right,
INE, all there.
Uh-huh.
R and a Y. Yes, there's another Y.
Okay. Why would there be an apostrophe in that? Because somebody, doesn't normally do,
Grammar?
punctuation correctly.
Punctuation.
Yeah.
Lori also doesn't capitalize correctly.
Yeah.
IF. She has kind of German-style capitalization. Important words are capitalized instead of the normal rules of English grammar. Yeah, U. Oh, you got a U very close to the end there, and an A in the third line.
Okay, wait a second.
We missed something?
There was a...
Perhaps Sam would just help lighten a person's purse if they had imbibed a little too much.
I think we lost a letter.
OUA?
Source.
I think we got all that.
Okay.
I think we're caught up.
If we didn't get caught up, then you have to...
Put
Good
them in.
Lord, it's a Bunny Bones joke!
It could be TME. This is not actually from Bunny Bones, but he could have done it. PM. Oh, no M's at all. That is the third letter that is not in the phrase at all. J and an O. There are no J's anywhere in the phrase.
I don't mind
I'll put an O for you.
Yeah. All right, serfs with a hyphen might be the ideal there. Okay.
B and a C. Oh, no more B's. There's only one B in the entire thing, but I'll give you a C.
You do have a C. Okay. Yeah, the trick would be to find all the letters that were
Okay,
here.
I want somebody to find the last letter that is not in this phrase. There's only one more.
Yeah, that we've tried every letter at least once. Okay.
There's a G and a T. Can anyone... there were no more G's. There is a T. Speaking of German capitalization, how about the proposals for a capital SZ? I think I said SZ instead of a B. I can't tell without my glasses.
No. W is unguessed. We haven't tried W.
That is an SZ.
I guess we need to say W then, because
Somebody's...
Icy Black Deep said W.
There it is! Those are the 5 letters that are not in this phrase.
Hey,
A,
congratulations.
B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Can anyone guess the entire phrase yet?
No, they're getting there.
We got a P and an R.
P and
No more
no
P's. There's an R.
There is an R.
Congratulations, we have completely failed.
Aw.
And completely succeeded because you have all the 21 letters that are in it.
Yes.
But nobody's guessed the phrase yet. I've decided I'm avoiding things from Quest for Glory because anybody can look up the transcripts of Quest for Glory.
Well, that doesn't matter. We should still use it.
We'll use it occasionally, but
But
this
this
is-
one
this
had
one
to
is
write
not
it
from-
out in puns.
this was not from Quest for Glory, so Punny Bones was not involved.
Yes.
So being a king is never a peasant experience.
Well, there's still letters there to fill in, but I'm sure you don't.
Okay,
need
we have a Y and an E. There's a Y. There's an E? Where'd that E go? Oh, end of
it.
experience.
And the experience, yes, we
That
didn't
wasn't
have
the
it. Yeah.
expected. So I actually said that word before it was completed. I'm
You
sorry.
did.
Being a king is never a peasant experience.
All right, he
And
wants
a
the
double E.
to finish.
There's
this
your
off.
other
There's
E.
the serfs.
It is serfs. Serfs, you right.
Did you actually? So that's my apostrophe there.
Yes, I copied and
He
pasted.
copied and pasted it.
So it is definitely what was in the script.
An A and an E.
I worked from the script rather
I
than
see.
from.
There's the A and there's the E.
There's the E. We have many words here. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4 uncompleted words. Can anyone guess what they are?
Yeah.
Being a peasant is never a peasant experience. Serfs you right if you can't take a yoke.
Right, but we got
That's most of it, but it's still not complete.
Yeah. All right, you guys, let's finish
And
this
that,
up.
of course, has to do with servants being yoked like oxen to pull.
C and O.
C. There are no more
More
C's.
C's.
No more
No more
O's.
O. Then he did.
So the NOS.
Balthazar
Let's see. Are there any more N's?
There
yes,
is
there's
the
an N. Is there an S? There's an
There's
S.
an S. Okay.
So we're out. The letters that we are out of so far are B, C, G, J, L, M, O, P, Q, V, W, Z. So don't pick any of those. Resistance is something.
Got it.
OSU
That
has
really
it.
is.
Okay, good.
All right.
But he's not going to guess because he wins all the time.
All right. I and N.
You're very brilliant, OSU Brainiac. Your name is well deserved.
I and N.
I and N.
No more N's?
No more N's.
No more N's.
But we have
Okay.
completed another word.
I think
Let me
people
read what
got
we
it.
have so
Yes,
far.
yes.
Being a king is never a peasant experience. Serfs you right if you can't take a yoke. And Dark PCK says resistance is feudal. And he is correct. Being a king is never a peasant experience. Serfs you right if you can't take a yoke. Resistance is feudal. And I said that is Aeolus and Sean yoking around in Hero U Rogue Redemption.
Yes. So I thought that.
So
had-
Dark PCK, you are the winner because you got the last 3 words. And you can send an email to support@hero-u.net. And make sure you put your screen name so we know who you are. And say that you won Phrase Flummoxer.
Yes.
Hooray! Hooray to everyone.
Congratulations.
And thank you everyone who participated because really this is not about one person winning. It's really about a collaboratively
The effort trying to figure out.
guessing the designer's mind.
Yes, guessing the designer. All right.
Which we talk about games shouldn't do, but
Yes.
really they do.
Admirable that you're so punny after all these years. Or does it get easier with practice? No, it doesn't get any easier.
You couldn't
We
have the
had to work
question.
it. We honestly wanted to have more puns for this. What was the one I just saw? About cloning.
Ending the question with a pun is like ending a statement with a preposition. It's just not done.
Well, my cloning experience finally paid off.
Lori read my cloning experience finally paid off.
I'm beside myself with joy. So yes, we didn't have nearly enough puns here. We did more technical things.
Okay, so Richard X did send an email on December 4th. So, okay, so that was talking about 2 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago.
Maybe it's cold outside and inside with all these puns. There we go.
Okay, so how do we come up with our puns? I come up with puns because my brain is weird. So I see signs and I always misread them at first. So there's a cup up there that says fair winds. So I might have read that as fair wings, and that would be probably a bird at a Renaissance fair. And then afterwards I'd say, oh, that actually says fair winds.
Whereas I sit there and ponder all the time.
Yeah, she thinks about it and strains and struggles
all
and
the
agonizes.
synonyms I write down, when I was doing for the next game, Summer Days at Tilly's Tale, we have Muella, the Minotaur. I wrote down every word that it could possibly be associated with cows and udders and everything.
And asked me for them. Said, can you think of any cow puns that I haven't used yet?
We just had to turn them
and we
into
do struggle
puns.
about that. But basically I come up with stuff off the cuff. The best puns really are ones that are an immediate reaction to something in a conversation. Right. Although you can prepare for that. So for instance, I know at least a dozen word plays having to do with trees. And, leave me alone.
All right. Okay, so Rich, your next one for the digital prize for phrase flummoxer. Since Roberta isn't around, do we actually have that? Where's the document? Do you want to have?
Now, usually what I do is I email and say which prize.
Yes, but I was going to say, but we only have a few that we actually have directly. So I was just going to say, do you want to have Jolly Rover or? What was the email? support@herou.
All right, I'll type it in here again. Is support@hero-u.net, and that has to do with the fact that when we started doing Hero U Road to Redemption, hero-u.com was taken.
Yeah, we still have some Jolly Rover or MacGuffin Curse.
And eventually, the people that had that email or that site abandoned it, and we took it over.
Corey, why don't you try branching out and leave the tree puns alone.
So he twigged what I was saying. So the idea is basically you got those ready. So if the conversation ever gets around to tree structure, dialogues and stuff like that, then you can make puns that sound off the cuff but are really long planned. But the really clever creative puns are ones that were not thought of in advance that just come up. I've got some keys for the Quest for Glory collection on GOG.
Yes, we have.
They look like Steam codes. Maybe that's in Steam.
Okay. We have. We have one for Midnight at the Celestial Palace, Chapter 1.
We have one for Gibbous.
We have one for
Cthulhu Adventure.
Game for Infamy. Quest for Infamy. We still have one of those.
We have several for the copy of the Hero U soundtrack. So people who said they really liked the Quest for Glory soundtrack.
No, is there anybody here who doesn't own the Quest for Glory collection?
Yeah, but Hero U soundtrack is quite amazing. Ryan Grogan did a fantastic idea, and the fact that we took 5 years to make a game that was scheduled for 1 year, that always helped. The same thing happened with Quest for Glory 5. One of the reasons that Chance Thomas's soundtrack for Quest for Glory 5 is so brilliant is he had 3 or 4 years to work on it.
We only have one version.
One key left for Jolly
Rover, but we have many.
We have several for MacGuffin's Curse. I highly recommend MacGuffin's Curse. It is a delightful puzzle game. So if you like pure puzzle games, it has some story to it. So it's a puzzle game with story, and that's really what convinced us to work with Andrew originally. And then Andrew suddenly remembered all the 70-hour weeks he had put in developing Jolly Rover and MacGuffin's Curse, and said, well, I can do that for my own game. It's kind of hard to justify that to my family, doing that in someone else's game, and that's why I had to drop out.
So, Rich, if you want to just send us the support and say which key
just say what you want.
And we'll send it right to you.
Yep.
That we can do.
And then we've also, we were giving away some of our art collection, and then what's mostly happened, Ronald Dragstra, who's in the Netherlands, won twice artworks, and he said, don't send those to me, it's too expensive to send stuff overseas. So instead we scanned it and sent him a copy of the scan. And the second one we never got around to scanning because it's too big to fit on my scanner, so I got to figure out how to do that. I'll probably need to go to...
Before everyone sends a heads up for anyone who likes watching skilled speedrunners.
Okay, and what heads up is that, OSU?
Yeah. Much love all. As always, thank you for our wonderful hosts. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It's 4 o'clock, but part of the reason
Thank you, Ronald.
Part of the reason we moved this from 3 to 5 up to 2 to 4 is so we can run a little overtime.
Yeah. They're running Taskmaster races in about 2 hours. These are competitive events.
Huh. So
Wow.
using basically a 5x5 board to get bingo.
Fun.
And what they have on those squares is each one is an achievement.
Okay.
So it is, for instance, find everybody that you can, donate to. Find all the beggars that you can give gifts to.
Wow, that's fun to set up. So David TKI, Mr. Dr. Miller.
Dr. P.R. Miller and a few others, Reverend P.R. Miller.
Reverend,
and a few others should be streaming, I believe.
So that'll be fun. So that'll give you something to watch.
Okay, so what we need, OSU, is a link for that.
Yeah, if you could find a link. Of course, if it isn't up yet, it's hard to link. But yeah, at any rate, thank you everybody for showing up. Get 100
intellect as fast as possible.
Wow.
Find 3 pieces of paper. Get a specific death message. Win the game against Erasmus, etc.
Wow.
One Short Eye was doing a QFG 3 speed run.
Cool. So yeah, you can
so
still
this
have
stuff
fun
is
with
up
this
there.
stuff.
Look around Twitch. Look around YouTube.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a link. Twitch.tv/Mr. P.R. Miller. We can we raid them?
No, they're not on yet. He said in a couple hours.
Oh, okay.
Too bad. But we would raid them.
Go.
But we've never managed to raid other than that.
Well, we had just with Roberta's channel, we had a problem raiding it.
Okay, well, I thought it was maybe
David
just...
DKI, check out this retro Steam from 2 days ago.
Yeah,
I am...
Turn off the sound, yeah.
Turn off the sound.
Okay, fine, any rate. So, any rate, yes, again, we
will... I clicked on David TKI instead of Mr. P.R. Miller.
Yeah. So, any rate, we'll wrap this up. So, thank you for coming.
Thanks all for coming, and sorry there weren't more puns. But, we really need 4 hours instead of 2. But...
there, one prize too big for the scanner. I'll bet it's too digital. Yes.
I will hold up that tall digital.
Yeah.
So that is this piece of the unicorn.
And really?
I guess if I took this out of plastic and out of the mat,
I could
do
take it out of the mat. Yeah, we'll be sending it away as soon as we can. If you type /raid partway, /raid, and you're typing it correctly, Twitch should start giving code indications that you got it right.
/RA raid bracket channel. But I don't think you put in the brackets, do you?
How would you know? Because you've got that big thing written over the screen.
Start a goal. /raid. Do you suppose you put in the bracket? No brackets. Okay. Mr. P.R. Miller. Did I spell it right? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to try this, and this may kill our... actually, no, I'll say... Oh, the raid has been created. Okay, so I don't know if he's actually up right now, but there would be a raid if he was.
Right.
Mr.
In this house,
PR.
we only make power dough. Not a pun, but it felt appropriate, yeah. All right, there you go.
Runs.
My title is Reverend Miller. Anybody on chat, call me Paul. We're going to skip quite a bit of it. Time.
Okay. So I don't know how to stop that. I guess I have to come up here somewhere. I have no stop button.
You could turn it on.
I can close it.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so that's how raid works.
There.
So for some reason, Naberta CGG, which was the Classic Gamers Guild with Nalani and Roberta, we've never been able to raid.
Even when they had Robert Holmes on.
Yeah, they had Robert Holmes. I really wanted to raid them, but oh well. So anyway, but I will mention again our Patreon because we got to pay the bills. Yep. You should all visit our Patreon because almost everything there is public and free. But we also have a number of people. We have 154 patrons that get us about $1,000 a month. And that's really useful for paying for disasters and luxuries.
But it pays for us doing things like this.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it gives us the luxury to do this stream instead of actually doing work like getting games done that will Oh well, we don't make any money for the game, so
So we're good at it.
so you should definitely check out our Patreon, even if you don't become a member. Look through stuff.
And check out our Discord. Join the Punitentiary. You can have all your fill of puns for the rest of your life.
And one of those posts to the Patreon, it's a Wonder Punderland post. Look at that, and that has a link to join our Discord. And you definitely want to be on the Discord because lots of crazy people.
I hope you don't have
posting lots of crazy
$1,000
stuff.
worth of disasters per month.
Close. Yeah, well, we're going to Hawaii, and that was several thousands.
But
that's
that's not a
worth.
disaster. It's
That's
the
a
fact
disaster.
the disaster is my computer
Okay, the latest.
is dead.
Yeah, Lori's computer. Lori's computer I bought new a year ago, and has never worked right. And we finally decided we have to replace it. So that was a couple months worth.
Yes, that's a couple months plus.
That's a couple months to buy her a new computer.
But that's what, that's really, those are the things. And we don't have small
When her camera was
emergencies.
stolen, her car was broken into, we had
Those
to pay
were
for
all
the car
things.
repairs and a new camera. So,
Life goes on.
yeah.
So at any rate, we were trying to warranty. You would think.
The problem with the warranty is we could have sent it back at any point, but by the time that we knew we had a real problem, it was completely full of stuff from Lori. So we had our passwords on there. We had all of the unreleased content for Summer Days at Hero U. And most importantly, Lori couldn't give up her computer for a week or two while it got fixed.
What do I do? I mean,
Usually
without a computer?
Usually what happens if you send something to get back to be fixed is send you a new one and you no longer have any of your data.
So yeah, we had to back up the data. And so all of that is what had happened. So anyway,
yeah.
we will see you all.
So we could probably have done it, but
Next time.
it was just too hard. So we got a new computer instead.
Yep.
This time I'm getting her. We've had laptops for the last 10 years or so, and this time I got her desktop computer, and hopefully that'll run cooler and be more reliable.
So anyway, we will talk to you later.
Ta-ta for now.
Yeah.
Yay.
Bye-bye. Put your arm in my face. Yeah. That's it. Yay. Bye-bye. That computer belongs in a museum. Yeah. ICD sent a thing. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we went up from a 2070 to a 3070 graphics cards on our new one. We haven't set it up yet. It's just sitting in the other room. Okay.
Yes, and watch...
head over to... there's Go.
Yeah.
Want to watch someone trying to get a blue orchid spawn? Okay, we'll raid that one, even though I don't know anything about it. Raid /1 short eye. Boom. Let's see how that raid's doing.
It got created.
7 viewers are ready to raid. 19 viewers are ready to raid. 22 are ready to raid.
Wow! Awesome!
Out of our 30. Okay.
Raid now.
On your mark. Get ready. Get set. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cool.
Add any item to your... Okay, and I